Attention, everyone. Good morning to each of you. I want to say this. We see that we have speakers coming in. If you do want to speak, it's critical that you sign in. I know you may say, well, I don't want to speak. I just want to come observe. But it still is important to speak, even if you said you like or you don't like, to get your voice on the record. Because if you don't speak at this meeting, you cannot speak at the Board of County Commissioners meeting. So these proceedings, they're quasi-judicial, it's very evident. Just want to come and sit and listen, that's fine. But if you have some concerns, it's best to state it at this meeting so you can state it again at the BCC meeting if you so desire.
All right, let's call to order this meeting of the Escambia County Planning Board for December 5th, 2023. It is hereby called to order with, double checking my math, 2, 4, 6 voting members. So let's go ahead and reminder to turn off all electronic devices, and let's go ahead and do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Mr. Reed?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Rachel, you want to take in the swearing? Since we have a new member today?
Yes, so District 5 has appointed Ben Nelson as the appointee for the planning board. Mr. Nelson, will you raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support, protect, and defend the Constitution and the government of the United States and of the state of Florida, and that you are duly qualified to hold office under the Constitution of the state, and that you will faithfully perform the duties as an Escambia County Planning Board member, so help you God?
I will.
Thank you.
Well, I welcome the new District 5 member, so we're glad to see that seat filled. All right, moving on, do we have proof of publication?
Yes, sir.
All right, did the publication meet all legal requirements?
Yes, sir.
The chair will entertain a motion to waive the legal reading of the,
Second.
all right, we got a motion by Tim and we got a second by Reed. All right. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Opposed? None? All right, the motion passes. All right, the planning board meeting minutes for November 7th have previously been provided to the board members. Their chair will entertain a motion to accept the planning board meeting minutes into evidence.
So moved.
All right.
Second.
All righty, we have a motion by Eric and a second by Reed. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. All right, motion passes. All right, we're moving along good today. The planning board hearing package for December 5th, 2023 has previously been provided to board members. The chair will entertain a motion to accept the planning board hearing package and the legal advertisement and evidence. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
All right. All right. So we have a motion by Eric and a second by Tim. All those. All right, motion passed. All right, I guess we have public hearing for, am I moving this right on this one? All right, public hearing for public hearing concerning the review of an ordinance amending the future land use map SSA-2023-11 prior to the hearing of case Z-2023-26, that the board review and recommend to the Board of County Commissioners, BCC, an ordinance amending Chapter 7, the future land use FLU element policy FLU 1.1.1, to provide for an amendment to the 2023 FLU map, SSA-2023-11, changing the FLU category of 2 parcels located within Section 14, Township 2, Range 31, W, parcel numbers 14-2N-31-2001-00-005 and 14-2N-31-2001-001-005, totaling 35.18 plus or minus acres located on Meehan Road from agricultural AG to agricultural residential AR. Alrighty. Alrighty. So I guess we get the presentation for that now.
Hi, my name is Christina Smith, Urban Planner. This is this is for the small scale amendment 2023-11. This is a location map including wetlands. This is a 500-foot radius for the zoning. This is a future land use map. Here's a proposed future land use map. This is the existing land use map. Here's the aerial map. And this is the public hearing signs, both of them posted on the parcel. This is looking north at the subject property. Looking east along Meharg Road. This is looking west along Meharg Road. And this is looking south across Meharg Road. And that concludes the photography.
Do we have the applicant come up for this one? I forget. Yes.
Andrew Starkey with Merrill Parker Shaw, 4928 North Davis Highway. Just want to start by saying I agree with staff analysis. This right here is not going to be a subdivision as you would commonly think of one. This is going to be 4 to 5 acre lots, 4 lot maximum. Right now there's 2 lots. We're going to 4 lots. It matches the surrounding area. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
I think we should be good on this part of it. Yeah.
All right.
Unless anyone else has any comments.
Do we have any speakers for this?
I think we have one other speaker for it. Jerry Marbut, do you want to speak on this one for the FLU change?
Yes, sir. The Gilmores are my neighbor. In your proposal here, or the study that was found here, under the findings, it talks about all the properties, the 4 to 9 acres, or generally, I'm the one that owns the 56 acres, which is next door. And They've been good neighbors. I've known them since we've been up in Molino since 2006, where we lived up there and we went to the same church together. But I see no problem with having what was proposed as far as the lots that he wants to do and changing it. Mine is rural residential, is zoned now. And I just wanted to go on the record and say that as his neighbor and good friend, I have no problem with y'all recommending approval on this.
Thank you. Any questions for a speaker?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm about to say it. I'm always gonna ask that. Try to be over.
I just want to make sure, Mr. Chair, that, so we're doing this in order, this is the future land use amendment we do prior to any zoning change, and it's done in that sequence because we really can't get the cart before the horse. So this is nice, appreciate your service very much, sir. And I just want to make sure I have this all in my head, that we go first, and for anybody else who wants to speak, like Horace said earlier, you speak now, forever hold your peace, because you won't be able to get to speak at the county commissioners meeting, if not.
Yeah, it'd be for the rezoning, they couldn't speak. They have to speak at that one specifically. For this is just the future land use part of it. Then we'll go over to that meeting. If there's nothing else for our speaker, so we appreciate you coming up. Thank you for your service. Anyone on board want to have any discussion on this? Or we go to vote? I'll take a motion. Sorry, I'm skipping stuff here. I wasn't prepared for future land use. So, all right, staff analysis.
Horace will stop you before you make a too big of a mistake.
All honesty, I usually prepare a little bit beforehand, but I walked in, I was like, oh, no. Walker, thank you.
Okay, so this is for the small scale. The small scale amendment to the future land use map of Escambia County proposes to change the FLU category of 2 parcels totaling 35.18 acres from agriculture AG to agriculture residential AR. The current zoning designation of the subject parcels are agriculture AGR. The applicant has also submitted a rezoning request, case number Z-2023-26, to rezone the parcels from agriculture AGR to rural residential RR. A FLU change from agricultural to agricultural residential will allow for a density of 1 dwelling unit per 4 acres. Okay, and then I read too. Regarding compliance review, need and benefit, a conversion from agriculture FLU to agriculture residential FLU would allow for a higher density of 1 dwelling per 4 acres, which would be compatible with the properties along Meharg Road, while still supporting small-scale farming on more productive district lands. Professional practices, the requested change to agriculture residential would be compatible with the existing lots along Meharg Road. By looking at the aerials, it appears a majority of the lots range from 4 to 9 acres, with a few smaller lots of 2 acres and 1 large lot of 56 acres. The proposed amendment complies with all 3 conditions established by the Florida statutes for the adoption of any small-scale comprehensive plan amendment. The applicant has a request to rezone the parcels from agricultural to rural residential. The proposed AR FLU is compatible with the current zoning and proposed zoning if approved. If the zoning and FLU change are approved, the density of the land would change to 1 dwelling per 4 acres and would continue to support small-scale farming on more productive district lands. If approved, the FLU change would be consistent with the zoning and would allow for residential development. The future land use category adjacent to and surrounding the subject parcels are rural community, RC, and agriculture. The change to agriculture residential would not change the area's characteristics by allowing a higher density in the neighborhood. Regarding infrastructure, 1 parcel is developed out of these 2 with a single-family home along with accessory buildings and is utilizing the existing infrastructure. The second parcel is vacant. Molino Utility provides potable water, and ECUA provides solid waste collection and disposal for the subject parcel. Molino Utilities stated in their letter to the applicant that they have adequate water capacity. Regarding transportation, the TTO has no concerns regarding the capacity of Mehawk Road or County Road 95A in the vicinity of the proposed project. Please note that TTO's review is solely based off the rezoning small-scale application submittal package, so the comments above hold no bearing on any TTO comments made during the development review process. Regarding wellheads, the subject parcels are outside of any existing wellhead protection area based off of Escambia County GIS. And there are no indications from the available National Wetland Inventory map that wetlands are on the subject parcels. The request to change a future land use from agriculture to agriculture residential is compatible with existing land use or zoning patterns in the area. That concludes staff analysis.
All right, thank you for the presentation. Any questions from staff or for staff?
Can we go back to the map, the maps, see the current and the proposed? Thank you.
All right, with no one.
Mr. Chair, in agreement with staff analysis and not hearing any compelling public challenge, I make a motion we pass SSA 2023-11.
All right, with Eric motioning and Tim seconding, I'll take a vote. All those in favor? Raise your right hand. All right, motion passes. Got that segment of this done. Alrighty. I guess now we're moving on to the rezoning segment of this. So we'll close out the planning board and move over to that, unless there's any other discussion for that. Is there?
We can come back, once the rezoning's been adjourned, we can come back to the regular meeting for any public comments or.
Okay, all righty. Well, then we'll go ahead and I'll call the order the rezoning meeting then. This meeting of the Escambia County Planning Board for December 5th, 2023 is hereby called to order with 6 voting members. We have a quorum. Yep. What? Was it 5? Oh, yeah, sorry. All right. My mistake. That was simple math flub there. All right. Moving on to proof of publication. Do we have proof of publication?
Yes, sir.
All right. Did the publication meet all legal requirements?
Yes, sir.
All right. The chair will entertain a motion to waive the reading of the legal advertisement.
So moved.
Second.
All right. All right. We have a motion from what? Jay. Sorry, I'm just having one of those days now, guys. So, from Jay and seconded by Reed. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. All those opposed? None? All right. The motion passes. All right. Let's go ahead and get to the rezoning meeting minute approval. Our minutes from the previous meeting dated November 7th, 2023 have been provided to the board members. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections? I don't believe so. All right. The chair will entertain a motion to accept the rezoning meeting minutes into evidence.
So moved.
All right.
Second.
All right. We have a motion by Eric and a second by Reed. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. All right. Motion passes unanimously. All righty. Get into the fun stuff now. All right. The rezoning hearing package for December 5th, 2023 with findings of fact has been provided to the board members. The chair will entertain a motion to accept the rezoning hearing package with the findings of fact and legal advertisement into evidence. Do we have a
moved?
All righty, we have a motion by Reed and a second by Tim. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. All right, the motion passes. The rezoning hearing package with findings of fact and legal advertisement will be marked and included in the record for all of today's cases. Will the staff be heard in, or sworn in, if I can talk? like I said, I do appreciate the leeway with this. Usually I try to prepare before one of these, which that was my fault for missing Rachel's email, so. All right, will the court reporter please swear in the members of staff?
Everyone raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm testimony you're about to give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Do affirm.
All right, the board has previously qualified staff to offer expert testimony in the area of land use and planning. Does anyone have any questions regarding his/her qualifications and ability to offer expert testimony? All right, seeing none, we'll move forward then. All right. All righty. All right. At this hearing, the planning board is acting under its authority to hear and make recommendations to the Board of County Commissioners, BCC, on rezoning applications. These hearings are quasi-judicial in nature. Quasi-judicial hearings are like evidentiary hearings in the court of law, however less formal. All testimony will be given under oath, and anyone testifying before the planning board may be subject to cross-examination. All documents and exhibits that the planning board considers will be entered into evidence and made part of the record. Opinion testimony will be limited to experts, and closing arguments will be limited to the evidence in the record. Before making a decision, the planning board will consider the relevant testimony, the exhibits entered into evidence, and the applicable law. Each individual who wishes to address the planning board must complete a speaker request form, in one of these pink ones in the back, and submit it to the planning board clerk. These forms are on the tape when I raise them. You'll be allowed to speak until we receive the completed form. Please note that only the individuals who are present and give testimony on the record at this hearing before the planning board will be allowed to speak at the subsequent hearing before the Board of County Commissioners. No new evidence can be presented at the Board of County Commissioners meeting. Therefore, all testimony and evidence must be presented today. The planning board will provide a recommendation for each rezoning request to the BCC, which will allow testimony, documents, exhibits, consider the closing arguments, and make a final decision. All decisions by the BCC are final. Anyone who wishes to seek judicial review of the decision of the BCC must do so in a court of competent jurisdiction within 30 days of the date the BCC approves or rejects the recommendation order for the planning board. All written or oral communications outside of the hearing with members of the planning board regarding matters under consideration today are considered ex parte communications. Ex parte communications are presumed prejudicial under Florida law and must be disclosed as provided in the BCC resolution number 96-13. As each case is heard, the chair will ask that any board member who have been involved in any ex parte communications please identify themselves and describe the communication. As required by Section 2-7.2 of the Escambia County Land Development Code, the Planning Board's recommendation to the BCC shall include consideration of the following 6 approval conditions. The applicant has the burden of presenting competent, substantial evidence to the reviewing board establishing that the requested rezoning district would contribute to or result in a logical and orderly development pattern. The appropriate surrounding area within which uses and conditions must be considered may vary with those uses and conditions and is not necessarily the same area required for mailed notifications. A logical and orderly pattern shall require demonstration of each of the following conditions. Consistent with comprehensive plan, the proposed zoning is consistent with the future land use category as prescribed in LDC Chapter 3 and with all applicable goals, objectives, and policies of the comprehensive plan. If the rezoning is required to properly enact a proposed FLU map amendment transmitted for state agency review, the proposed zoning is consistent with the proposed FLU and conditional to its adoption. Consistent with zoning district provisions, the proposed zoning is consistent with the purpose and intent and with any other zoning establishment provisions prescribed by the proposed district in Chapter 3. Compatible with surroundings, all the permitted uses of the proposed zoning, not just those anticipated by the rezoning applicant, are compatible as defined in Chapter 6. With the surrounding uses, the uses of any surrounding undeveloped land shall be considered the permitted uses of the applicable district. Compatibility is not considered with potential conditional uses or with any non-conforming or unapproved uses. Also, in establishing the compatibility of a residential use, there is no additional burden to demonstrate the compatibility of specific residents or activities protected by fair housing law. Appropriate of spot zoning, where the proposed zoning would establish or reinforce a condition of spot zoning as defined in Chapter 6, the isolated district would nevertheless be transitional in character between the adjoining districts, or the differences with all those districts would be minor or sufficiently limited. The extent of these mitigating characteristics or conditions demonstrated an appropriate site-specific balance of interest between the isolated district and the adjoining lands. Appropriate with changed or changing conditions if the land use or development conditions within the areas surrounding the property of rezoning have changed. The changes are to such a degree in character that it is in the public interest to allow new uses, density, or intensity in the area through rezoning. And the permitted uses of the proposed district are appropriate and not premature for the area or likely to contribute to sprawl. At the beginning of each of these cases, as long as there is no objections from the applicant, we will allow staff to briefly present the location, the zoning maps, and photos of the property. Next, we will hear from the applicant and any witness he or she may wish to call. Then we will hear from staff and any witnesses they wish to call. Finally, we will hear from members of the public who have filed a speaker request form. And we can move on from that little long reading. All right. Well, that's always long. All right, so there is one case today. The first rezoning application for consideration is case number Z 2023-26, which requests rezoning of property from agriculture, AGR, Agricultural District, one density unit, or one dwelling unit per 20 acres, to RR, Rural Residential District, one dwelling unit for 4 acres, as requested by Andrew Starkey, agent for Gilmore James R. Life Estate, Gilmore Deborah Ann Life Estate owner. All right, members of the planning board, has there been any ex parte communications between you and the applicant's agents, attorneys, or witnesses with fellow planning board members or anyone with the general public prior to this hearing? Have you visited the subject property? Please disclose if you are a relative or business associate of the applicant or the applicant's agent.
Steve Opelinick, no to all.
No to all. No to all.
No to all.
No to all.
No to all.
No to all.
And no to all.
All righty. All right, staff, was the notice of the hearing sent to all interested parties?
Yes, sir.
All right, perfect. Was notice of the hearing posted on the subject property?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, staff will now present the maps and photographs. Let's go to town.
Christina Smith, urban planner again. This is for rezoning 2023-26. This is the location map and showing the wetlands. Often they're not on the property. This is the 500-foot radius zoning. This is a future land use map. This is the proposed flue. This is the existing land use map. And here's the aerial map of the parcels. These were the 2 signs posted on the properties. This is looking north at the subject property. This is looking east along Meharg Road. This is looking west along Meharg Road. And this is looking south across the street on Meharg Road. And that concludes the photography.
I have just one quick question. On the 500 radius zone, didn't we talk about in agriculture area extending that 500-foot radius zone for notifications?
Yes, so for any rezonings that are north of 9 Mile, I send 2,500-foot radius mailers. The map that is on here is just a 500-foot radius, but that has nothing to do with my mailing notifications.
Perfect.
Thanks.
Thank you for that question, Mr. Reed.
Appreciate that clarification of that.
Could I make a comment real quick? In the future, could we show the 2,500 foot as well?
Will do. And we'll include that in the record. Yes, sir. Thank you.
All righty, no other comments on this section, then we'll go ahead and move on to the applicant's presentation. All right, will the applicant or the representatives please come forward? You can swear in the applicant.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, please, your name and address for the record.
Andrew Starkey, 4928 North Davis Highway, Pensacola. Again, first of all, I'd like to thank staff on their hard work on both of these issues. And I agree with their recommendation, with their analysis. If there's a property that ever deserves to be rezoned, it would be this one. The properties around it, 2 to 4 acres. This one now will be able to be subdivided into 4 to 5 acre tracts with 4 lots maximum. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
So you've been provided a copy of the rezoning hearing package and with finding of fact. Do you want to use that one as an evidence?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I just gotta read this off. Do you understand that you have the burden of providing substantial competent evidence that the proposed rezoning is consistent with the comprehensive plan, furthers the goals, objectives, and policies of the comprehensive plan, is not in conflict with any portion of the county's land development code?
I do.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we should be good to go on. Any other questions for the applicant up here? Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, perfect. All right, we'll move on to staff presentation.
Okay,
Do we have any speakers that are on this one? If not, we can,
That's
Is
public
that-
comment after.
say, in your favor of it, right?
That's correct.
he's the only guy.
I just wanted to recommend that, you approve it. I have no problem with it.
Come on, you get for the record.
Excuse me. Jerry Marbett, 500 Maharg Road, Molina, Florida.
Raise your right hand, solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, I do.
And spell your last name, please.
Marbut.
Thank you.
I just wanted to reiterate what I said before, that I have no problem. He's a good friend and neighbor. And as you can see from the findings of the staff, I have numerous neighbors around me that have smaller lots. And his going to rural residential is the same as mine, rural residential. So just wanted to go on the record. I highly recommend that you approve it.
Okay.
Any
Appreciate it.
questions?
Unless there's any other ones?
Since you're local, how do you pronounce that road?
Me? Well, it's pronounced Mahar,
It's Maharg, ain't it?
but a lot of times for spelling, I say Meharg.
Yeah, but it's, in Cantonment, it's Maharg or Mahar. Just
Well,
want to clarify
Oh,
that.
it's Maharg, it's an ARG, but there's still family members that live on the road, so,
Thank you, I was saying the same thing.
thank you.
I guess on the staff and presentation.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Chairman, board members. I'm going to be reading this, helping Christina Smith out this morning. As you can see, very quickly. Criterion A, consistent with the comprehensive plan findings pursuant to Florida Statute 163-318-412, the subject matter parcels are concurrently under review for a small-scale map amendment, which y'all just heard. Changes from AG to AR. In accordance with the aforementioned Florida statute, an applicant may request that an application for a local zoning change be considered prior to the transmittal of a future land use map amendment change to the appropriate state agency for review and approval. Furthermore, Florida Statute 163-318-412 states that the zoning changes approved by the local government are contingent upon the comprehensive plan or the plan amendment being transmitted becoming effective. And I do want to add this. This is a small-scale map amendment in which it would not require for it to be transmitted to Tallahassee. It is a local governing, and that's part of the Florida statute. Based upon the applicability of this provision within the Florida statute, the rezoning request analysis for the subject matter parcels is proceeding forward by staff. In this rezoning request from AGR to RR, staff finds that the proposed future land use category of AR is the consistent future land use category as set forth within the Escambia County Constitutional Plan and is the consistent future land use category that allow for the range of uses at the maximum residentiality of 1 dwelling unit per 4 acres, 1 house per 4 acres. And also, this is, as you can see further, I'm going to sort of move a little ahead. Along with what has been previously stated, staff finds that the other provisions as referenced above for meeting criteria A have been met, and that the proposed request, rezoning request from AGR to RR, does provide for the protection of the rural agriculture areas with a low residential development pattern in alignment with the stated goals and policies of Escambia County Comprehensive Plan 2030.
Horace, can I stop
Yes,
you real
sir.
quick?
Absolutely.
Since we only had a speaker that agrees and the applicant agrees, is there a way we can do this as a quick?
I think can we move
Because
forward?
I mean, usually we can't move forward if there's a disagreement, but since there's an agreement, we should be able to fast track this, correct?
If we can,
Chair would be open to that motion.
You technically can. I'm not opposed to having the evidence presented.
Yes.
If it ever isn't approved by the Board of County Commissioners. Under the circumstances, though, it's your discretion.
It's in evidence already, isn't it? I mean, it's kind of
It
in
is.
the public light.
so to summarize, if that's the motion, I can say it very quickly.
I'm always really open and always like to have everything out there, so I mean, I will accept anyone wanting to make a motion for that.
I will make a motion to fast track this, case Z2023-26 for approval.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion from Reed and a second from Eric. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, that motion passes.
I don't want to hear your voice.
My sign is acting up this morning, thank you.
It's very ugly.
Okay, all right, so we still can move on to public comment. That's pretty much just expediting this, correct? I mean,
It's approved. I mean, you mentioned that there was nobody else except for the one.
yeah, we
one
already
for-
kind of skipped that. Am I supposed to read the legal reading for that, though, for the public comment if they have
No,
to speak?
at this point, since the motion has already been said and been passed, you are more than welcome to adjourn the rezoning. We can reopen the
Okay.
regular meeting and go.
I just
ahead.
want to follow the guidelines too
Yeah,
at this
that's
one,
okay.
so I want to follow the book rule.
I mean, Mr. Chair, if we want to argue, we can talk about college football
I mean, if anyone
playoffs.
wants to,
But if we don't, I mean,
I always try to be as open as possible with these. Alrighty, we'll go ahead and Chair, we'll go ahead and close this out and we'll move over to the regular planning board meeting again then. So what time is it? 9:07? We're moving along then. Alrighty. I don't believe we have any other public hearings for the planning board, correct?
No.
Alright, public forum? Anyone have anything?
No.
Alright, I guess we don't have anyone else, alright. Discussion action items, I don't think we have any of that. Director's review, Horace?
Microphone.
Again, we just want to, there is none. We just want to basically wish everyone a Merry Christmas. And we're not going to be having no more planning board meetings until January 2024.
January 11. It's on a Thursday because the BCC took that first Tuesday. So Thursday, January 11th, I'll give you guys a heads up right after the new year.
And thank you, board members, for your consistency, for being faithful and consistent in working with staff. It's not always easy, but we appreciate your commitment to Escambia County. Thank you for your time and your effort.
So January looks pretty full. Is there anything that we should be expecting for the January? We've got 3 rezonings and 2 public hearing changes. Is it gonna be a long day, or is this a?
Mr. Reed, the cases are, expectation is a good word. I'm just gonna leave it like that.
Horace is going to bring lunch.
It doesn't feel like a lunch one there. You're not gonna fast. Just Rachel, call me if, Walker doesn't. So I can prepare. County's attorney report, anything for us? Nothing? Okay, all right. We don't have an annual sunshine or anything like that we have to do. I always forget. I think we did one last year at the same time, but I wasn't sure if we have to redo it or anything.
go with the next or the following, I can do a sunshine presentation since there's some board members.
Yes.
All right, just pointing that out there. All right, without nothing else, we'll go ahead and adjourn this meeting of the planning board. Out there, fast one.
Good.